My husband says everything is his. So my husband and I will be married for 20 years next year. He's the only boyfriend I ever had. Childhood sweethearts. He convinced me to marry him before I finished college, saying he would finish paying for it but never did. I started working immediately after we got married as it was summer break from my freshman year of college. He didn't make enough to even pay half of the bills. I made quite a bit more than he did, though we weren't super great off. Our needs and a few wants here and there were met. So our account was joint and he'd just go get whatever he needed from the ATM without asking what bills were pending or how much we needed to cover bills for the month. So we got in a hole where the account went negative every single month. And when our paychecks hit, we no longer had enough. My mom even had to pay 2 months of our power bill for us. I finally graduated from college. It wasn't 4 years but a 2-year degree that I worked for and paid for myself. I made more money after getting this degree. He then went back to college and quit his job while he was in school to get the college experience when he was in his late 20s. I was the only one working and he'd sleep until 3 p.m. as he only had classes 3 days a week. He never did any of the chores around the house. At all. Ever. Something happened and I became disabled and completely unable to work. My SSDI went through pretty immediately. It's been about 10 years since I became disabled. Now he has his degree and a good job. I have no access to our money. I catch him talking about all these stocks and bonds and cryptocurrency and different accounts he has all over the place to his family member on the phone, and when I question him about any of it he says it's none of my business, and I don't need to know. We no longer have a joint account. I literally have to ask permission before I can put anything on the credit card, which he pays off each month. This includes underwear. He'll legit tell me I don't need underwear when I in fact do. I'm not allowed to ever buy sodas, snack foods that he doesn't approve of, cigarettes, anything. The only time I ever have any money is if someone in my family sends me cash for my birthday or Christmas. They just send money so I can buy what I want, and they say because they know he doesn't give me any. So here's the main issue. He starts fights with me over everything. He now controls everything. I can't decorate or arrange furniture unless he approves it, as it's his apartment, because my disability doesn't even cover my half of the rent. He says for me to have equal power when it comes to any decisions, that I have to somehow make enough money to cover half of all of the bills, including his student loans. Remember, he wouldn't let me go back to school, saying he couldn't afford it nor pay for it when I went back and got my 2-year degree. I do all the housework, take care of the pets. Only one of the pets is mine. His pet requires lots of medical care and my husband helps me with none of it. He won't take out the trash. I have to carry up any and all packages, even his. If he orders something so heavy I can't carry it, I have to figure out a way, or he lets it sit a couple of days before bringing it in and then fussing and making fun of me. I handle everything else, like getting inspections, groceries, errands, everything except him going to work and doing whatever he does with the money. So I know I don't pull my weight because I am legitimately disabled and don't make enough to even cover my half of all the bills. I hate that I can't work. I carry deep shame for this, but I legitimately can't help it. I have a non-curable condition. So AITA, because I want to have equal decision-making over finances and decisions concerning what we buy, how I do the housework, what we do. Should I still be considered equal? I'm tired of having my cell phone taken away or threatened to be taken away because I tell him no or run my mouth. Or have all the bed covers ripped off and thrown in the floor because he doesn't like how I made the bed. Or told I'm going to lose driving privileges for whatever reason. I guess I just feel like he's my dad and he says it's because I don't pull my weight. And that after I pay him back for the almost 10 years he's covered what my SSDI didn't, and then contribute equally financially, then we can discuss me being his equal. Please don't be mean. I've been with him going on 25 years, married almost 20, and I'm under 40. Not by much. I've literally never been in any other relationships and I have no clue what is normal. From the comments, do you think that with a few words of advice here on Reddit he would reverse 20 years of behavior? What is love and why do you love him? The law says you own half of all the relationship's assets and debt. And if there's income inequality, alimony addresses that. That's what the law says. Greed or being deserving isn't part of it. Well, sometimes I feel lonely and I don't know how to explain it, like hopeless. I'm not thinking that's the right word. Like I'm just worn out, tired. I just try to do whatever he says and not argue, though he always finds something to fuss at me for. When he's threatened to divorce me before, he's said he would sell every investment he has, cash in his 401k, and spend every penny just to keep me from getting anything. And I believe that to be true. I'm still trying to figure out if this is normal. He shouldn't have to support me. I wasn't disabled when we first met. I do understand his frustration there. I do everything else though, and everything that I can. I believe we are soulmates. I literally fell in love with him at first sight. Sometimes I wonder, but I can't turn it off. I can't stop loving him. Update: thank you so much, truly, for everyone who responded and gave me honest advice and opinions. I have to confess that emotionally, mentally, and verbally, he's always been super mean to me, and it's just gotten worse over the years. He took me 2 days of driving away from my home and family. I have no in real life friends anymore. For the last almost 10 years we've been moved away for his job he got after graduating college, and I think I'm just broken and had to tell someone, even if it was anonymously to strangers on the internet. My disability is physical, though I suffer from mental illness as well and have anxiety so bad at a baseline that when he really won't let up I get psychotic anxiety per my psychiatrist who I see monthly. I've never spoken of this to him or my mental health care providers. I guess I was raised up to be married to one man for life, for better or for worse, but I can't live like this anymore. All of y'all picked up on so much more than what I originally posted about. I promise I will start researching and gathering information and trying to come up with some plan of how to fix myself and my life. He's never changed except for getting worse. Thank you all again from the bottom of my heart. Story 2. Would I be the jerk for thinking about calling off my engagement because my fiancé lied to his family about us having kids? My fiancé, 23 male, and I, 22 female, plan to get married next year. Despite having a set date, there are still many things to organize, but I'm considering postponing or even canceling the wedding. For additional context, when we started our relationship, I told him that I had always been certain I didn't want to have children. In my country, which is not the United States, a woman wanting to undergo surgery faces many obstacles, and in most cases, doctors refuse to perform the procedure. This is aside from the complications women experience, unlike men who undergo vasectomies. When I told him about not wanting children, he mentioned he wasn't considering them either. However, when I asked about vasectomy, he admitted hesitating in case he changed his mind. Understanding his perspective, we dropped the topic. We continued dating for 3 more years, and during a vacation 4 months ago, he proposed on the beach. We decided to marry on our first date anniversary. I revisited the child topic, anticipating marital pressures, and he confirmed our shared stance. We shared the news with my parents, who congratulated us joyfully. The issue arose when we visited his parents. He's the youngest with 2 older brothers and 1 older sister, all married with children. During the dinner we had to celebrate our visit, we announced our engagement, and everyone congratulated us. Most conversations revolved around wedding preparations, the venue, the guest list, and so on. In that moment, his sister asked us how many children we were planning to have. Keep in mind that my fiancé had asked me in the past to avoid stating outright that we wouldn't have children in front of his parents, knowing it could lead to arguments. I recalled his request but wasn't sure how to respond this time. We typically said we weren't certain about the topic yet, but I didn't want to lie. Considering the significant step we were taking, I felt we needed to be honest to prevent future issues. My fiancé stepped in and mentioned we would have only 1 child. His father and one of his brothers started teasing him for wanting just 1, suggesting we should aim for at least 3 like the rest, so we could experience the joy of a large family like everyone else. He laughed along with them, making jokes about wanting more if I didn't make it difficult for him. At first, I planned to discuss it with him after dinner, but after the last comment, I left my plate, stood up, and asked him to join me in the backyard. It took him a moment, but he followed, avoiding direct eye contact, and commented that my sudden departure was a bit rude. When I questioned him about what he had said, he gave evasive responses, reiterating the desire to avoid arguments. I insisted that we should be truthful now to prevent future problems, but he resisted. I told him I wouldn't go along with the lie. As I was about to leave, he revealed he had changed his mind about having children, wanting several. He had been thinking about it for months before proposing. I reminded him of our previous conversation, and he admitted he hoped to convince me after marriage. I told him I wouldn't change my mind, and out of nowhere, he started insulting me, calling me a stupid, arrogant, and selfish person for wanting to deprive him of the best experience in the world. I didn't expect him to treat me that way, so instead of responding, I went back to his family and revealed the whole truth, stating that I would never change my mind. I then packed my bags and left. Now I'm at a hotel, and after talking to my family, who told me they had crossed a line, I decided I needed to vent. I was always upfront with him about my desires and asked for honesty. Not only did he lie, but he also insulted me when he realized he couldn't manipulate me. That's why I'm considering canceling everything and ending the relationship. Would I be the jerk?